House Estermont of Greenstone is a noble house from Greenstone in the Stormlands, and is one of the principal houses sworn to House Baratheon of Storm's End, and before them the ancient line of Storm Kings of House Targaryen. They rule the small island of Estermont, east of Cape Wrath, in the Dornish Sea. While the island is small, it is of strategic importance, with some of the Storm Kings of old keeping part of their royal fleet moored off the island. Their arms depict a dark green sea turtle on pale green, with their motto currently unknown. Estermont and the islands to its south were added to the realm of the Storm Kings of House Targaryen during the reign of Eric the Sailmaker, but Estermont was conquered shortly after Tarth during the Andal invasion of Westeros. Peace in the Stormlands was eventually achieved when the Durandons and their first men bannermen intermarried with the Andal invaders, and thus the island remained as part of the realm of the Storm Kings until the coming of Aegon the Conqueror. As of now, it is yet unconfirmed if House Estermont are of First Men or Andal ancestry, but it is most likely they are some mix of both, as like many houses of the Stormlands, during the coming of the Andals to Westeros, the Storm Kings of House Durandon's solution was to marry many of their bannermen into the Andals. As a result, most of the houses in the Stormlands have this mixed ancestry, with some more Andal or First Men than others. House Estermont very much kept themselves to themselves during the Targaryen era of Westeros, never really being involved in any meaningful way in the wars and conflicts of House Targaryen. But in 55 AC, the daughter of Larissa Velaryon married Lord Estermont. Back in 35 AC, Larissa was the first true friend of her cousin, Princess Rhaena Targaryen. For a time it is said the two girls were inseparable, until Larissa was suddenly recalled to Driftmark to be married to the second son of the Evenstar of Tarth, another prominent house of the Stormlands. By 55 AC, Larissa's husband had died, and their daughter had recently been wed to the elderly Lord Estermont. Rather than remain on Tarth or return to Driftmark, the widowed Larissa chose to stay with her daughter at Greenstone after the wedding. Her presence on Greenstone later drew her cousin Rhaena, whose companions had recently been murdered on Dragonstone, and whose daughter Arya had recently disappeared upon Balerion the Blackdread. It is said that Rhaena lingered on Estermont for more than a year, seeking the solace of her childhood companion. In the waning years of Targaryen Westeros, during the rule of the Mad King Aerys II, Lady Cassan Estermont wed Lord Steffon Baratheon of Storm's End, and had 3 sons by him: Robert in 262 AC, Stannis born in 264, and Renly born in 277. Both Cassan and Steffon drowned on the Windproud when they were caught in a storm in Shipbreaker Bay after an unsuccessful quest to the Free Cities to find a bride for King Aerys II Targaryen's son, Prince Rhaegar. However, after the downfall of House Targaryen through the rebellion of Robert Baratheon, House Estermont now found their own blood seated on the Iron Throne. 2 of King Robert's Estermont uncles remained at court in King's Landing for 6 months following his wedding to Lady Cersei of House Lannister in 284 AC. Robert insisted on repaying the visit, with Queen Cersei and members of his court accompanying him for a 2-week stay at Greenstone. While there, Cersei suspected Robert was bedding one of his widowed cousins he used to play with as a child, and had her twin brother, Sir Jaime of the Kingsguard, follow Robert to confirm her suspicions. Cersei and Jaime slept together on Greenstone, and Cersei likes to believe that that was the night their eldest child, Prince Joffrey, was conceived. During the events of the main book series, in A Clash of Kings, at the onset of the War of Five Kings, Lord Estermont declares for his grandson and liege lord, King Renly Baratheon. The Estermont sea turtle is seen by Lady Catelyn Stark in Renly's camp when she is visiting, asking for Renly's support for her son, Robb Stark, the king in the north. When he is preparing for battle against his brother, Stannis Baratheon, Renly decides Lord Estermont would command the reserve of his army. After Renly's death, the Estermonts turn to King Stannis, along with most of the other Stormlords. During Stannis' siege of Storm's End, Sir Courtney Penrose acknowledges the presence of the Estermonts among the great houses at his parley with Stannis. Lord Estermont recommends against storming the walls of Storm's End, believing it would cost too many lives. He suggests a duel against Courtney, or a long siege to starve them out. He also refuses to turn to the religion of the Lord of Light, and asks to fight under the Crown Stag banner instead of Stannis' new Flaming Heart. The banner of House Estermont is later spotted in the vanguard of Stannis' army as it approaches King's Landing during the Battle of the Blackwater Rush. During the battle, Lord Estermont and his men fight together with Sir Eldon, Sir Aemon and Sir Alan. He bends the knee to King Joffrey I Baratheon after Stannis' defeat. Sir Lomas and Sir Andrew Estermont escaped the battle and led part of the Greenstone men in remaining loyal to Stannis. After the end of the War of Five Kings, Lord Estermont is a guest at King Joffrey's royal wedding to Lady Margaery of House Tyrell. He declares at Tyrion Lannister's trial that he saw Tyrion pick up the wedding chalice as Joffrey was dying and pour the remaining wine onto the floor. Sir Andrew Estermont helps Lord Davos Seaworth smuggle Edric Storm out of Dragonstone. He sails away with the boy, commanding the escort. Later, the Estermont banner is seen at Castle Black after Stannis' arrival. It is likely they were involved in his attack on the wildlings beyond the wall during the battle for the wall. During the events of A Feast for Crows, Lord Qyburn reports to Queen Cersei Lannister that Eldon Estermont, the current Lord of Greenstone, has married Sylvia Santagar, unknown to those in King's Landing. This was punishment for Sylvia's part in Princess Arianne Martell's attempted coup to place Princess Marcella Baratheon on the Iron Throne. Meanwhile, Sir Lomas Estermont remains in Storm's End, loyal to Stannis, while Storm's End is besieged by a Tyrell army. During the events of A Dance with Dragons, during Jon Connington and the Golden Company's war council at Griffin's Roost, it is revealed that Mark Mandrake was put ashore by the Volantines on what turned out to be Estermont, with close to 500 men. Although the island was never one of their intended objectives, Mandrake had no archers with him, so Lyman Pease wondered if Greenstone managed to get off any ravens before it fell. Connington answered that he expected they did. He figured there should be ships on Estermont, as it is an island. He tells Haldon to send word to Mandrake to leave a garrison behind and bring the rest of his men to Cape Wrath, along with any noble captives. It is pointed out that House Estermont has blood ties with both remaining kings, Stannis and Tommen, so they would make good hostages. And as of now, until we get a Windsor Winter, that is all we know of House Estermont.